Hello, this is Hunter McDermott with Anyone Can Play Guitar, and this is lesson 2 of 12 Bar Blues Basics for Guitar. This is sort of an introductory lesson all about how to play some simple blues tunes, as well as an introduction to improvising and playing scales and different things like that. Alright, so in the first lesson we learned about the 12 Bar Blues form. So we learned the arrangement of those chords and how to turn those majors into dominant chords to make it sound a little bit more bluesy, and a couple instances where we can substitute chords to kind of give it our personal touch. But a lot of times you won't hear just plain old chords going on. There's usually something a little bit more intricate. And there are lots of different shuffles and different rhythms and things that people will use, but the most common one is the shuffle here. That's what I call it anyway. So I've got it written out in tablature, so if you've never seen tablature before, it's pretty simple. You might need a slightly more in-depth primer, but the idea is that we have, horizontally, we have these 6 lines. Each line represents a different string on our guitar. And over on the left side here, I've got them noted, what string number it is, and then also what note it's playing. So the bottom line here is your 6th string, which is tuned to E, and then it goes up to your 5th string, and then 4, and so on. So the lower pitch notes are on the bottom, and then it goes up higher as the pitches get higher. So then on the lines themselves, we have numbers, which represent on which fret to play on that string. And then whenever you see numbers that are vertically aligned, we play them at the same time, like a chord. So here we have on the A string, string 5, we have a 0, which tells us to play that string open, like that. And then directly above it, on the D string, we have a number 2, which tells us to play the 2nd fret of the D string. So we're playing the open 5th string and the 2nd fret of the 4th string at the same time, which gives us sort of like a power chord. It is a power chord, basically. And as it says, we'll do that 2 times. And then the open string stays constant the whole measure, but the 2nd fret goes up to the 4th fret on the 2nd beat. So the fingering I like to use is my 1st finger on the 2nd fret, and then I leave that on the whole time, and I just add my 3rd finger on the 4th fret, so it goes like this. Alright, and that's 2 beats right there. That's 1 and 2, and so then you do it a couple more times. 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Sound familiar? Alright, so a couple things is I'm swinging it like we talked about in the last lesson. So instead of just going, which is still sort of bluesy, I'm giving it a little bit more of a swing to it. And also, instead of alternating like we did on the chords, I'm using all downstrokes. Again, you might not be able to see it quite there, but you can see the down arrows the whole way there. So with my right hand, my picking hand, I'm just going like this. All downstrokes, and I'm just alternating 2nd fret to 4th fret on the D string while I'm keeping my A string open. Something like that. Alright, so that's anytime you see an A chord, we'll be doing that pattern. So A will be here, and then anytime we see D, we'll do this pattern, and then anytime we see E, we'll be doing the last pattern here. So the only difference is what your open string is. So we have open A consistent throughout this A measure, and then in the D measure, the exact same thing, just moves up a string set. So I'm doing now open D string and 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and I'm alternating. Something like that. Now for E, it's the same thing, except it's open E string, open 6th string, and 2nd fret of the 5th string. So whatever chord you need to be on, 1, 4, or 5, you just make sure that that's the open string, and then the next highest string is where you're alternating from your 2nd to your 4th fret. Alright, so let's go through the 12-bar blues form using the shuffle pattern. And this should definitely sound like blues music to you if it's eluded you thus far. This should be the moment. All right, here we go. Something like that. Alright, so now we've got our nice shuffle pattern there. So there's one extra little element, and again this is just one of many different patterns you hear. You'll hear this kind of thing a lot, you know, and other different patterns like that. But this is just a simple shuffle that you hear quite often. And you know, and this really isn't the exciting part of the blues. This is the accompaniment part of it. This is what we need to know to play with someone who is soloing. So, you know, I find one of my favorite situations to be in when I'm playing music is just to be trading solos with someone in this kind of blues idiom. So somebody's playing the 12-bar blues pattern with this shuffle while I take a solo, and then after that 12 bars we swap places, and then they solo while I keep up the rhythm. And man, it's a lot of fun. You can keep that going for, you know, hours. It's really great. So one extra little element that is fairly common and really easy, without getting into all the other different ways in which we can go about this, is to add the flat 7 to your shuffle. So without getting too heavy in the theory, what we have when we're playing this pattern is we're playing the root, that's the A there, and we are on top of it, we are playing the 5th. So like we looked at in the last lesson, the root would be A, because it's the first note of an A scale. And then the 5th would be A, B, C sharp, D, E. So we're playing an E note there on top of it. And then when we go up, we are playing an F sharp, so A and F sharp, and that is a 6th. So we're playing 1 and 5, and then we play 1 and 6. Now we can go one step further and play that note there, which would be the 5th fret. So if I'm playing my open A, I'm combining it with the 5th fret of the D string, and that really gives you that kind of bluesy sound to it. That's the flat 7. You hear this all the time. That kind of thing. Now personally, I like to employ that extra note anytime I'm about to change chords. Let me go through the 12-bar blues one more time, and I'm going to throw that flat 7 note in there a few different places, and it can go over any chord. So if I'm playing D, it'll just be the 5th fret of the. If I'm playing A, it'll be the 5th fret of the D string that I'm adding. If it's over a D chord, it'll be the 5th fret of the G string, and if it's over an E chord, it'll be the 5th fret of the A string. So you're just throwing the 5th fret up here above whatever string you're on. Alright, here we go. So you'll hear where I employ it. I usually throw it in right before the chord changes. The chord changes to a totally different chord. So here we go. A little sloppy there, but anyway, you get the idea. Alright, so that's just a simple way in which you can kind of spice up your 12-bar blues without getting in the way of the soloist or whoever else is playing. And you know, that's a great thing to think about, is to, okay, how can I support whoever is in the spotlight and still make it interesting for me as a player, and you know, for that occasional listener who picks up on, oh hey, there's something a little bit extra thrown in there in the rhythm guitar section. But there you go. So that's the 12-bar blues shuffle. And again, that works over any key. Works in any key. Now A, the reason why I'm showing you all of this in the key of A is because the shuffle is very easy in the key of A. Because our open, our 1, 4, and 5 chords happen to be open strings on our guitar, and low ones at that, which is good. We have our open 5th string, open 4th string, and open 6th string. Now, pretty much any other key, you're going to have to do some stretching. So it gets a little trickier. So say I go into the key of E. E's not quite as bad, because over an E chord I can do the same thing I'm doing over this E chord. I can go here. So I'm on the 5th string, 2nd fret. Then my 4 chord would be E, F sharp, G sharp, A. So that's here. That's easy enough, just like we were doing in the key of A. But then my 5 chord is a B. Even though I have a B string and my 5th above it, it's just really, it's so far away pitch-wise from my low notes that I've been maintaining there that it really just doesn't work. So what you would have to do is you'd have to take what we're doing on the A and just slide it up the neck. So what I'd have is a B root note here, so that's the 2nd fret of the A string, and then 4th fret of my D string, so that's the power chord part of it. And then I'd probably do it with this finger because I'm going to have to reach way up here. So I'm alternating 2nd fret here, that stays this constant, and then I'm alternating 4th fret to 6th fret here. And you know, it's doable, and once you've played guitar a while you can make that stretch no problem, but if you're just getting started it might be wise to just kind of stick around the key of A for a while. And you can get quite a lot of mileage into the key of A, and like I said, it's very common because it is simple. Alright, there you go, there's 12-bar blues shuffle. So stay tuned for the next lesson. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them for me, and subscribe if you're digging the videos. Alright, thanks.